had 7 months of sheer suffrage. No, it hasn't been that big of suffrage. We acquired the property in February, and it took a month to get full access to the property so that we can start renovating and doing the thing. But this house definitely gave us all a run for our money because there was so much damage. There hadn't been any restoration really since the years vary, to be honest. Between 1913 and 1915, there hasn't been much renovating or restoration to the property, so it made it really hard to kind of like go back into time and then bring all of it forward. So, I mean, it was a fun process, but it was a little more tough. Also, to keep the bulk of the original footprint of this house was really, really hard, because it'd be nice to expand and make rooms bigger and change the layout and move the kitchen and move the bathroom. But in reality, it's in order to restore this home to its natural state and then bring it into, 2024 it took a lot to kind of like marry the two of those. So the scope of work with this project, originally we thought it would take a little less, but realized once we got into it, there was only certain aspects of this home that we really could restore, the flooring being one of them, which was gorgeous. But as far as like the utilities and the structure of the property, the house is sound, and it being built in the like 1913, 1915 range, I personally feel that like the quality of build was better back then, and the wood was stronger and whatever. But bringing it up to 2023, 2024 standards, we had to do all new electrical because it was knob and tube, which is so like, to be honest, I haven't even really heard of knob and tube until we got possession of this property. But we had to do all new electrical, new panel, higher voltage, new mast, all of it, like a full gut on the electrical. The roof is brand new. We lifted up the awning out here and made everything a little more structurally sound so that it was even, it looked even, it felt even, it functioned better. The stairs had to get redone because it was essentially like this ladder situation that was not sustainable at all and hardly functional. We were able to make the attic space more usable. I mean, there was a slew of things going on. The yard the dirt had built up over time, and then I think it was an aesthetic thing that they had done where they built up the lawn, and so the lawn and the dirt went higher than the end point of the deck, and it's not good for the material. It rots the material. All kinds of things can happen throughout time with that. So we like essentially excavated, like took all the dirt out and moved it to the back and leveled all of that out, because there is a street back there that can be utilized, but there was a huge dip. So we moved all the dirt to the back and we leveled out the lot a little bit more, and this lot is amazing and huge. But those are kind of like some of the bigger things we had done. Everything else was like predominantly cosmetic. We did put in all new windows because a lot of the windows were smashed out, or they were older, single hang, and they weren't functional. And we put all new doors and a lot of new hardware. So, I mean, most of the surfaces in this house, actually every surface in this house was touched with a new material or paint or a refresh of some. I've learned so much. I've learned a lot about construction. I've learned a lot about accountability with contractors, finished work, what something needs to look like versus what is being delivered sometimes. I've learned more so about the process, like of some of the things like electrical. In my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, it'll get done. But in reality, it took 3 or 4 months to get the electrical restored. So I think I learned a lot about, this one was more about some of the bigger issues like stairs, roof, and electrical, and dialing those in. They're a little more in-depth in dealing with the city and dealing with multiple different contractors and GCs and stuff like that I hadn't necessarily had to deal with as much, because some of the other projects I've done in the past were more cosmetic. So that's one thing. And then dealing with personalities and contractors, accountability, and really like taking charge of the project, I think is probably something that I really learned on this house. Because although it's a small, tiny little, cute little home, Miss Gladys she is, it was still a big project and a big undertaking, which is why it took a little longer. So it didn't come without its obstacles, but it did turn out beautifully, and we did our best. We really did our best in here to bring it up to date, and while still keeping the integrity of the home. Because in reality, a lot of people are just ripping it down and putting out 4 units. So I think a lot of love went into Miss Gladys, I'll say that. A lot of love, a lot of hard work, and a lot of unique obstacles that I just haven't personally faced. And as I continue my flipping journey, I will face, I'm sure, down the road. This is just one of those chapters and one door of stuff that I had to face that I just haven't been exposed to. So we navigated it and we got through it, but shit was hard.